Hello student, this is Rimpa Shingarai and today I am going to start a new chapter, Complex Numbers of class 11. I have tried my level best to summarize this chapter in a very practical way, and I have included only those points which you need to know if you want to solve the problems of complex numbers. So without any further ado, let's start. If I write root over of 4, what will be the value of this number? So it will be plus 2 or minus 2. Okay. If I write root over of 1, it will be plus or minus 1. But if I write root over of minus 1, what will be the value of this number? There is actually no number in real number whose square will be negative. Either the number is positive or negative, the square must be a positive number. We have seen it before. So what will be the value of a square root of a negative number? So there is no such number in the real number. So mathematics Euler have given a sign, a symbol, which is I. It is called the imaginary unit number. Okay. And root over of minus 1 is equals to I. That means if we square both sides, then minus 1 will be equals to I square. Okay. So now we'll move to the next page. So now complex numbers are expressed as z equals to a plus ib. Okay. Here a and b are real numbers. They must be real numbers. They can't be imaginary numbers or complex numbers. Okay. And this part a is called the real part, and the second part ib is called the imaginary part because it contains the unit imaginary number I. Okay. Now let's move to the difference between real and complex numbers. Some students thought that real and complex numbers are totally two different things. That means if I write 2, then 2 is real number, but 2 is not a complex number. But this concept is absolutely wrong. Why? Because if I write 2, then by the previous expression of complex number, I can write 2 plus I into 0. So here 2 is real number as well as 2 is a complex number. So this is actually the right expression of the set real and complex numbers. So all the real numbers are complex numbers. Okay. So actually real number set is the subset of complex numbers. Here we have taken a complex number z equals to a plus ib. Now we will understand this complex number through Argand diagram. So what is Argand diagram? Argand diagram is the coordinate system of complex numbers. Okay. It's actually similar to the coordinate axis of 2D. This is the x-axis and it is called the real axis. Real axis. Okay. And this is y-axis, which is called the imaginary axis. Now we will put z in this coordinate system, as it is z and its coordinate will be a, b, because z equals to a plus ib. Now as it is ab, then this distance from o to, suppose this is p, op will be a and pz will be b. Then this distance oz will be the hypotenuse of this triangle OPZ, and this is called the modulus or R. And as this is a right angle triangle, then R will be the root over of a square plus b square. Okay. Now we are going to understand argument and amplitude. Okay. So for this, again we are going to draw the Argand diagram. X-axis and Y-axis, and we'll put Z here. Okay, now this theta is actually the angle between the x-axis and OZ. This is called theta. Here theta is the argument or amplitude of Z. As in the coordinate system of 2D coordinate geometry, you have learned that tan theta is equals to y by x. So here y is equals to b and x is equals to a. So this is the value of theta, tan inverse b by a. Now what is the difference between the amplitude of Z and argument of Z? So argument of Z can be any value of theta. It can be 3 pi, it can be 5 pi by 2. But the amplitude of Z must be the principal value of argument of Z. That means amplitude of Z can't be 3 pi or 5 pi by 2. Amplitude of Z must be in minus pi to pi. It can't exceed this value. This is called the amplitude of Z. But argument of Z can be greater or less than pi or minus pi. Okay. This form is called the polar form of Z. Okay. So now the next is complement of Z. Complement of Z is nothing but we just have to change the middle sign of this. If Z equals to a plus ib, its complement is denoted by Z bar and it will be a minus ib. Similarly, the r into cos theta plus I sin theta will be written as r cos theta minus of I sin theta. So the addition of the complex numbers is very easy. We have taken two complex numbers, one is Z1 and 2 is Z2. Z1 equals to a plus ib and Z2 equals to c plus id, and of course a, b, c, d all belongs to the real number set. Okay. Now if we add Z1 and Z2, then we can see that the real part a and c will be added and then the imaginary part will add it later. Okay. Now let's move to the subtraction. It is actually similar with addition. We have taken the same 2 points and just subtracted this 2, and then a minus c is the a and c the real part, and we have subtracted this 2 and then have subtracted the imaginary part. Okay. So here we have taken 2 points, Z1 equals to R1 cos theta 1 plus I sin theta 1 and Z2 equals to R2 cos theta 2 plus I sin theta 2. So if we multiply this Z1 and Z2, then the modulus will be the multiplication of the two modulus of the given point, and the amplitude will be the sum of the given two amplitudes. Okay. So this is the formula of a product. Now let's move to the quotient. In quotient, we can see that the modulus of the quotient will be the quotient of the given two modulus, and the amplitude will be the difference between the given two amplitude. Simple. Okay. So here are two properties that I think you need to know to solve the questions of complex numbers, but I didn't explain it. But if you are interested to the detail of this property, then please let me know. I will make another video. So here this Z1 plus Z2 and the mod sign represents the modulus of Z1 plus Z2 is less or equals to the individual modulus of this the sum of the two modulus. Similarly, it also in the subtraction. if we take the subtraction of the two complex number and take the modulus of this, that can be greater or equal to the subtraction of the individual modulus. Now we are going to find out the cube root of 1. So for this we have taken this equation, which is x cube equals to 1. So if we solve this equation, we will get the cube root of 1. So we simply did this step and we follow this formula, a cube minus b cube. Okay, and then we have got three roots, 1, this and this two complex root. Okay, and we denoted this root as omega and this one is omega square, because if we square this first one we will get the second one. So this is omega and this is omega square. So now look at some properties of omega and omega square. So as omega is a cube root of 1, so omega cube will be 1. So it's simple. And 1 by omega is omega square. We can take this from this line, because omega square can be written as omega into omega square equals to 1. Then it will come from this line and it also come from this line. Now one more property is 1 plus omega square is equals to 0, and sometimes you can use omega plus omega square is equals to minus 1. Okay, so we have completed our chapter. Now I have a bonus question for you. Tell me, between these two complex number, which one is greater? I am giving you 5 seconds. So I think you have already decided which one is greater. So whatever your decision is, I am going to tell you that you are wrong, because no one of this can be greater from the other one, because in complex number you can't decide which one is greater or which one is not. It is not like real number. Okay, so I hope you have understand. This is the bonus knowledge for this video. We'll come up with various type of problem on complex numbers. Till then, goodbye.